Good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting for the Hartford Community Development Authority Board. Prior to this meeting, all notices and agenda has been posted. Let's call this meeting to order and a roll call. I know all commissioners are present except for Tony Garza and Aaron Raymer, who are absent and excused. Second item on the agenda is for public appearances. Anybody in the audience like to do public appearances? You got 3 glorious minutes. Going once, going twice. Okay, no public appearances. Number 3 on the agenda is the unanimous consent agenda. Within the unanimous consent agenda, which has been published in our packets, they have the April 25th, 2023 HCDA board meetings. It has the staff reports and then a late loan report. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at it? Has there been any questions, concerns, changes? No? All right. Okay, so we have Mr. Perman moving for approval.
Second it.
And second by Josh. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. All right. We're going to move to number 4. That's going to be introduction to our new community development and city planner, Jacob Maas. We're excited to have him here. He's been, second month now?
1 and a second month, yeah.
Second month now. I'll turn it over to you. If you want to give everybody a little bit of background on what you're doing, because I know you're going to be having a lot of play into this committee as well.
Yes. I'm Jacob Maas. I'm actually from Lebanon, Wisconsin, not too far away from here. Grew up there, went to Watertown High School. I went on to UW-Whitewater for my bachelor's degree in geography. Went on to Western Michigan for my master's degree. Unfortunately, I didn't finish my PhD at Texas State. My advisor left for University of Oregon, and my external advisor left for Asheville, North Carolina with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So I was unable to do that, but I did meet my wife down there, so my family started down in Texas. I then while trying to finish up my PhD, I actually went to the Red Cliff Band of Lake Superior Chippewa up in Washburn County, or not county, Washburn, Wisconsin, which is in Bayfield County. Worked there for 3 years. I started out as their environmental program director, went over to their environmental health director, then took a position with the city of Watertown. I worked there for 8 years. Then took a position last October with the village of Menominee Falls. Got this opportunity here at Hartford, too good to pass up. So I came here, really enjoying it. It's a lot more rural, more small town type of feel, which is what I like more than suburban sprawl, I guess to say. But I'm glad to be here and look forward to working with everyone here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Part of the commission, and I will just extend our warm welcome. I know this will definitely be bringing in a lot of opportunity. Again, a lot more, I think, as they say, the job description probably with the ... and anything else asked of you is probably going to fall underneath there. But we appreciate your time and your help here with the city, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to item number 5, the GRRP grant study. We're going to review and discussions. Are you going to take that one, Jacob?
Yep.
All
so
right.
Currently we're looking at doing a HUD GRRP grant, which is the Green Resiliency and I can't remember what the rest was, but it's a program that allows you, if you have 50% of if you have a unit or a structure that is 50% or more HUD funded, you can apply for this grant opportunity to do green infrastructure on the facility. We'd be looking at probably doing small scale electrical panels or solar panels on the roof. Also taking out the AC units. Putting in anything, new stoves, anything like that would make it more energy efficient. Also, there's always, it's an older structure, so this would also probably allow us to redo the roof on it again so that it can withhold the weight limits of the solar panels. So we're looking at it for not only just for increasing efficiencies for the HUD housing, but also to help further mitigate any structural issues that might be ongoing with this structure. So we kind of see it as a win-win. We're applying for the comprehensive grant. That one has the largest amount of funding for it. It's $20 million or up to $20 million or $80,000 per dwelling unit. I believe there's about 62 units in this structure, so it's quite a significant amount of funding. We do have the option of a grant versus a small loan or a loan. The difference is one is the grant is 25 years fair housing, and the other one is a 15-year fair housing minimum. So we have to look into what is best for us when we're doing this application. We just recently finished or just signed a work order with Grafe to do a energy assessment for the structure, so we can, which is part of the application for this grant. The grant does cover that portion of the study, the energy efficiency study. So we're moving forward on this grant. We look to apply. The deadline for the first application period is August. We hope to get it in by August 31st to move forward with this grant and hopefully find funding opportunities for this facility.
So with the, I guess I have a question on that. So you said we went in an agreement with with Graff for some of the energy. So was that part of, it's a fund, I think that's being billed as what, like time and materials on that one, or how does that work?
Well, they're going to do an energy audit. So what they do is they look at all our utility bills, gas, there's a bit of gas. We also have electric in there. And then also our water and wastewater usage, and just make an assessment based off of that. They'll probably look at the windows and stuff like that, energy losses from windows, the types of equipment that we have, such as the stoves, or again, we have quite a bit of old AC wall units in these structures. I think going back to the 70s, some of them aren't lasting yet, so it's not energy efficient, and even, so this would reduce the cost of actually running this facility as well.
So being new to this then, I mean, was this something that we planned on applying for this grant and bringing in, because obviously there's some expenses going out to for the grant application and winning of it. So is that something that's been planned, or?
This is the first time they've offered it. This is part of the Inflation Reduction Act. This program was created during that, the adoption of that. HUD just rolled it out this year. So they've been doing webinars and stuff like that on this. So it's been a learning process for us all. Before we did this expense for the work order, we ran it by Dawn in finance to make sure we had enough funding to do this.
Okay.
And we do have enough funding to do this. And again, if we get accepted for the grant, they will cover $2,500 of this application process.
Okay, thanks I'm just learning this, so.
Yeah. And we're also learning now as we move through this process too.
Okay.
What kind of hoops does the city have to go through to apply to get this grant?
The big one is the work order we just applied for with Grafe, or submitted to Grafe. It's to do this assessment, that energy assessment. That's the biggest hoop for the application process. Again, it's a federal grant, so reporting and the administration of grants, there's a lot of jumping when you have to deal with the federal government for grant money. But I believe we have the staff that can handle that.
What about long-term strings that are attached to this? For instance, I know one of our units has a kitchen,
Yep.
and there for a while, we couldn't serve food at our other unit because there was restrictions on the funds that were used to make the kitchen.
Yep.
And that hamstrung us. I don't know if we're now making food for both places, but that was an example. So what kind of long-term strings are attached to these funds?
The long-term one is the 25. If we take the grant, it's the 25-year affordable cost for rental. We're going to be really kneecapped in what we can charge and follow under the HUD definitions of what is affordable for leasing and renting.
But we're currently following
Yep.
it anyways, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, okay.
So then I guess it really comes down to what is best for us from, is it the grant portion versus the 15-year loan program that they have, which is low interest? It's really a matter of what funds our program the best.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, Jacob, I have a question. So if I'm following this right, the estimate for the review is 3,800, 2,500 of it would be reimbursed potentially through this grant?
Correct.
And then, assuming that we would decide to go forward and we'd
Yeah.
apply for a grant, is there any type of a match component that is required by the CDA itself? Or would the potential improvements that would be recommended, could they be covered 100% by this grant, or how would that work?
The grant would cover up to $80,000 per dwelling unit if we do the grant option. So
80,000 per what, I'm sorry?
$80,000 per dwelling unit.
Oh, I see, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
8,000 per, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I'm just concerned with any long-term strings that we don't know
Yeah.
that come up where you have to do X, Y, or Z every couple years. When will you find out more about long-term requirements that you have to meet besides the rental aspect of it? Or is that the only thing we have to be concerned with?
That right now is the only one. I'll look back into that more about the 25-year payback program, or not payback because it's a grant, but the 25-year affordability issue with the grant, and I can get back to you because the application is not due till the end of August. We should have a meeting before then, so hopefully we'll have dived deeper into the understanding of what all encompasses this grant. It's just right now it's an opportunity for us not to pass up.
Any other questions? So on this, so you talked about the discussion and then it's a review and discussion. There's no really approval you guys are asking us for at this point, or are you requesting us to approve the next move forward, or is it just for discussion?
Just discussion, overview and discussion.
So we don't need to approve you guys spending up to that $3,800? That's already,
That, we already have that budgeted for,
Yeah.
or there's enough money in our account to cover that, and it doesn't meet the,
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd be interested as we continue down this path, what would you come up with in some of those questions? So that'd be awesome. Thank you. All right. Should we move on? Okay, number 6, the Hartford CDA, the CDBG manual. It's the FY23 low income / fair market rent updates. Who's taking that one? Are you taking that one again, Jacob?
yep.
Awesome, sir. Thank you.
So again, every year, every fiscal year, we have to do income limit documentations for the Community Development Block Grant, the housing program. You have Appendix B, which is the update of the fair market rents for these, for the program. And then, so what we're looking for is approval of the updated fiscal year 2023 income limits and the fiscal year 2023 fair market rents in accordance with the guidelines published May 15th, 2023. The changes are reflected on page 29 of the Hartford Community Development Authority City of Hartford Community Development Block Grant Procedure Manual, which is included in your packet. So again, if you look, utilities are, an efficiency with utilities is $766. 1 bedroom is $909. 2 bedroom, $1,092. 3 bedroom, $1,374, and then a 4 bedroom, $1,499. And 6.4 kind of goes over the income limit documentation of what is the very low income, extremely low income, and low income for the number of persons in a family. What sets those limits?
Go ahead, Tim.
Joe, I just have a question, Jacob, just a question. So assuming we would approve these and modify the policy, when would these changes be effective to tenants? Oh, they are, okay, right. But the adjustments have already been made or put in place?
Yes.
They have, okay.
Do we typically see that big of a jump? I mean, you went looking at some of these numbers, it's probably almost a 6%, right? Is that kind of what I figured? Is that typical for this? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking that because it looks like we redid it back last year and to this year. It looks like there's it looks like a kind of a large jump. Is that just typical? When we see that kind of increase on those rates?
HUD sets the rates, so this is just. So HUD sets the rates, it's generally April of each year, and it kind of goes with the cost of living. So the cost of living adjustment for Social Security was significant. It was 8.7%. So this is a larger jump going along with Social
Okay.
Security.
Yeah, like I said, I just didn't know how these things tie in. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow, it's a huge jump and not understanding where it comes from. So I really appreciate that, Anna, for explaining that to
So
me.
they publish those each year, and then we have to adjust, basically on the background on how we approve things or rent increases that can be allowed. So it has to be at or below 909 for the one bedrooms.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
All right. So then basically, if my understanding is this is kind of just a format to, just to approve the rates that's being adjusted, and it's kind of already in place, so it's kind of just a format, just to kind of format it.
Correct.
Okay. So there's really not much
So we
to
really
it.
can't say no.
That's how I took it.
It's HUD publishing it to WIDA and WIDA sending it out
Right.
to us
Yeah.
to follow. It's expected.
Awesome.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
We got Josh, first motion, second motion by Tim. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Moving through this one. Number 7 is, again, now we have in front of us, we have the CDBG, the RLF loan review and take action. I believe that's the one that was passed out right before the meeting.
Correct.
All right.
Before you get into it, I have a quick question.
Yep.
So, and the whole time I've been on the board, I've never had to approve one of these. Is there a reason why it's coming before us tonight?
Being my first meeting and kind of doing housing authority stuff for the very first time, I just wanted to bring this in front of you guys to kind of educate myself as well as you guys on the processes that are internal.
Okay.
Yep.
The Community Development Block Grant Revolving Loan Fund, thus the acronym, is something that, again, is available to anyone to take a part of any time. So you purchase a house, you have the financial means, meaning lack thereof financial means, to assist in doing these types of projects. The CDBG Revolving Loan Fund is there to assist them to get that funding to be able to do some of these improvements to their homes. So these can happen at any time. However, the biggest problem with these programs is the fact of so many people don't take advantage of it that could.
Right, agreed.
There was also internal concern about, just because this one is going over $50,000, and usually they're not over $50,000, so we just wanted to bring this one in front of you as well, because it was such a large loan amount for this program compared to prior revolving loan fund grants and funds that we've given out. So that's why we brought it here as well, is
Okay.
just because of the number, or the total of the loan. So looking at the total revolving loan funds for this project, we're looking at $73,575. The biggest portion of it comes from the lead paint rehabilitation work, which is $43,970. There's also the cost of the heat HVAC system, which again was only about $7,775. And then also waterproofing the foundation, which again, around $18,930. So there's large components to this program, lead abatement being a key aspect of this one, which is essential for a healthy community, lead abatement. So again, that's why the cost was up so much on this one, was a lot of it was from the lead paint abatement program.
I'm just giving everybody a couple minutes just to scan over if they had any questions. So I know this is kind of being new to you, Jacob. It's also new to myself, and it sounds like it's kind of new to this committee on something like this. When we get something like this in front of us, what's one of the, I guess, what would be one of the most, something that we should be looking for, or we should be understanding when it comes down to a document like this coming in front of us?
The key component of it is they meet the eligibility requirements, which they do in this case. And then this is just to kind of give you an overview of why this revolving loan project in itself is so expensive. Again, this is one of the few that's over $50,000, which requires and kicks in a state approval of the revolving loan fund. An additional level of approval is required at the state level for funds over $50,000, and that, again, is, why we brought it here. But generally, it's mostly, do they meet the standard for income, which in this case they do, and then just a breakdown, we're just showing you a breakdown of what the costs are for this revolving loan fund.
So the loan amount to the homeowner is $28,035.85. How is that repaid, or do they just, as long as they live in the house, if they live there 20 years, it's forgiven? Do they make monthly payments?
It's a deferred loan.
Yep.
So, go ahead. Come on up.
Hi. So it's a deferred loan, so if they cease to be live at the residence or they sell the house, then they have to pay it back.
Does it forgive after 10, 20, 30 years?
No, we
No?
have to re-record it after 30 years if it's not satisfied.
No, it's attached to the property, so as long as they keep the home for as long as they need it, as soon as they sell the home, then they have to pay with the proceeds of the sale of the house.
So just a question on that. So because of that, you don't have to do any debt calculation or income to debt calculations, I presume, because there's no payment obligation on it. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, but you do evaluate their income as in its ability or capacity to pay its first mortgage and any other outstanding debts that they have, right?
Correct.
Okay.
There's a calculation. It has to be, there has to be enough equity left over on the house based on the fair market value. And there's over 100,000 in equity on this house.
Yep, I see that. Okay.
And, other than that, it's just based on their income. And his income is less than that amount that's in that past thing that we just looked at, the RLF total income to debt ratio for like a 4-person household. I think it comes to like 75,500, and he was under there, so.
Okay.
So a 4-person household is $79,900 now.
Okay, yeah, and last year it was 75,500 when we
That is
started.
correct.
Yep, so he's under that limit.
And then just because it's quite a bit of money going out, are we controlling those funds? Like, do we pay the contractors? You don't give this money to the homeowner and say, okay, here, pay it. We pay those on his behalf and make sure that it's going to legitimate contractors and the work's actually getting done?
Correct, there's inspections along the way, and then the homeowner signs off, the contractor signs off, and I sign off on any withdrawals for funds.
Good.
Okay. That answered my question. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Does the contractors, they have to, do they have to meet any certain criteria that's getting hired to do the work?
So they all have to be lead certified, and
Okay.
they cannot be debarred from the state for having government contracts.
Okay.
So,
Are you looking for us to approve this, or is this within your authority to approve, and you're just bringing it forward to us?
I think for reassurance purposes, because it's over $50,000, we would like your approval
Right.
tonight,
I
just
think you
for,
just review and take action, I
Okay.
guess is what I
Yeah.
would say, so.
Do you know what your policy is to approve these in the future? Because like I said, I've been here 8, 9 years now and haven't had one come in front of us. And I know we've done little ones, right, Lisa? Other little ones that the last director didn't bring in front of us. So do you know what your policies are to bring them in front of us?
and that's something I'm working on, as being new, is working on a policy. Again, because this one needs additional state approval, I think that would be kind of again, the black line or the line in the sand for us to push it to you guys for more extensive review, just so
Great.
you understand and then approve it.
Great, that's fair.
I just have one final question before we move forward. I'm sure it's probably in the document somewhere, but I haven't seen it for a while. What's the balance of our block grant fund?
That's a good question. The balance is around 79,000, so this is going to significantly reduce it.
Yeah,
Down to
okay.
almost, just a few thousand.
Okay, thank you.
So this will bring it in, and then I'll just take another 40,000 off of that is what this will do then, or, excuse me, the 28,000 out of that total, correct, off the balance?
It actually, the entire thing will come off the balance,
Right, okay,
and then eventually it'll be paid back into it. The portion of it that'll get paid back, which is the 28,000,
okay.
roughly.
All right, any other questions? Do you have an action, what do we want to take?
I'll move for approval.
Okay,
Excuse me, for approval.
Mr. Perman, move for approval. And Karen seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. That's been approved. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up to us. All right. Number 8 is any communications or correspondence. Anybody have any communications? I didn't see any that I knew I needed to bring up. So we'll go on down to any other committee reports or commission requests at this time.
We seem to have like 1 or 2 meetings a year. We don't meet all that often. Are we going to meet pretty soon with this grant stuff? Because you want to apply by the end of August. So we're expecting to have another meeting next month then to approve, or in September.
I generally like some sort of bodies agreement on grant applications, so we'll probably schedule one in early August before we apply for the grant.
Okay.
Awesome. Good question. Anybody else? All right. With that, we'll go to number 10, which is adjournment. So this meeting is adjourned by authority of the chair.